Good. Hey, this is Jim at Broadfield. Thanks for joining us for another Broadfield Weekly Liquid Lunch and Learn. You will see we are joined this week by Gregor Jones from Panasonic. Hey, Gregor, thanks for joining us.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for inviting me. I love doing these things. This is fantastic. I'm super excited.
And Gregor, we've had you on the show before, so you know the way we roll. It is Broadfield Liquid Lunch. Did you bring something good to drink today?
You know, I did. I believe the last one I didn't bring such a good beer. I didn't like the taste of it as much as I'm really going to like this one. I brought the Elysian Split Shot. This is a espresso milk stout. So basically a coffee with a little bit of beer in it. And
that's awesome. I have an IPA from Toppling Goliath, which is the Sun Reaper Double IPA. So I'm going to give this one a taste. Cheers, Gregor.
Oh man, cheers.
Oh, that looks good. That has a nice dark color to it. You really taste the coffee in there?
You can taste the coffee. Definitely, you can taste that milk stout texture on it. That's a really good beer.
That's awesome. Definitely enjoy that. I will definitely check that one out. So enough with the beer. Let's get into today's show. We're talking about some great Panasonic products, starting with the brand new UE100. Gregor, before we get into the UE100, give us a quick little introduction for our dealers that may not have had the opportunity to meet you yet.
Absolutely. If you're in the Northeast, hopefully we've met. I'm the territory account manager for the Northeast for Pro Video. So I cover all of the system cameras. I cover all the broadcast, cinema, and anything that the resellers need in this territory. We're more than happy to take care of that with demo units. I'm the guy you call when you need support. If you need someone to show up with the customer, and anything we can do, I'm your guy.
Absolutely, and we love that, Gregor. The Broadfield sales team is obviously a huge resource for all of our dealers, but when we have a good partnership and a good contact with the vendor like we have with you at Panasonic, it really allows us to give our dealers every resource possible to help close those sales.
Absolutely.
So, Gregor, we want to talk about the brand new camera that is available now. It is the Panasonic UE100. Give us a quick introduction about this great new camera.
Yeah, so the UE100 is a new model for us. It comes in just under the UE150. It falls into the 4K family. Some really neat things about it is it already comes with the NDI, NDI-HX. The license is already on there. So this is a perfect camera for streaming, especially if you're going over regular internet because of SRT and some other really neat features. This is one heck of a camera.
Absolutely, and it is 4K 60p, correct?
Correct.
That's awesome. And you mentioned NDI. This is actually the first Panasonic Pro PTZ camera that has the full NDI protocol in addition to NDI-HX.
Correct. Along with the SRT, and along with RTMP and RTMP-S. So if you wanted to do just straight live streaming to Facebook or live streaming to YouTube, this is a perfect candidate for that.
So you really, one of the things I like is it's really adding to that versatility, making this a good choice in whatever application our dealers are running into. Having all of these different connection protocols, which, by the way, are already included in the camera. So when we talk about the NDI or the NDI-HX, with the UE100 model, that license is included. It is not a separate upgrade or a separate purchase. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
That's awesome. And again, SRT is one of these protocols that we're seeing developed more and more, especially now as there are more streams and applications going into the remote world. SRT allows you to bring that secure transmission so you can be joined by a remote guest, like we're being joined by you today, and you can do that system to system with that handshake.
That's right, straight over the open internet, which is really, really a good feature,
Absolutely. Now, we did talk about it being a 4K 60p camera. It has a 12G SDI output. And of course, the PoE++ allows you to run your NDI video signal, your power over the Ethernet, and even your control signal all over a single cable.
Yeah, and some of the things you don't want to overlook here as you're looking at this picture is it's also got audio in, and it's also got gen lock. And these are incredible features. And another thing that you don't want to look over is the fact that coming out of that camera, all those spigots come out at the same time. So you don't have to pick and choose, and we're not going to charge you extra for one or the other. You can plug them all in, and you can get video out of all of them at the same time.
So between all the different input and output connections and the network connectivity and everything else that we talked about, again, it really adds to the versatility of where this camera could be installed, who's the right customer for it, and where it could be used. You said it slots in just under the 150, which really does make this a flagship level camera within that Panasonic Pro PTZ line.
Yep, and because it has that PoE++, that means you can, with one cable, control the camera, video, audio, power, everything. So super simple to integrate.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about that with this HLC100 that I have set up on the table here. Before we do, give us the down and dirty specs on the lens of the UE100.
Yeah, so as you can see there, it does have that 24 x lens, and it's also got that really wide angle, which is really important, especially these days, and when you're talking about house of worship and things of that nature. But you can't overlook that it also has a 2 and a 1.4 digital extender. So that lens, is incredible. That's a really good lens for a PTZ camera, and especially in that price point is the big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only are you getting the great optical image quality on this lens, but you're still getting the smooth robotics and all the other great secret sauce that makes Panasonic Pro PTZ some of the leaders in the industry.
Yeah, and having a smooth camera is nothing new to Panasonic. Even before we had the direct drive system, what is in this UE100, we had the most quiet camera, or we had the quietest camera I know of. I've never heard a camera that was quieter than ours. But this one actually is even more quiet than our previous models because of that direct drive system. And what you get is a noise level of NC30. And to give you an idea of what that is, that's the same sound or the same level of noise you would get taking a pencil across a piece of paper and drawing a line. That's how quiet this camera is.
Wow, that's amazing. And again, that's really going to help benefit a lot of the staging and live production and those arenas where that definitely becomes an important selling point for our dealers.
Absolutely.
Now, Gregor, I have a slide up here talking about the 3D technology and how that fits into the AR and VR systems. If you could speak a little bit to that, please.
Yeah, so these days, considering the way things are, as you can imagine, virtual production is on the rise in a very big way. And so what we do is, and we were some of the first people to offer this, and it's called 3D. And what it is it's taking all that protocol of the pan, tilt, zoom information of where that camera's at in the world and sending it down the stream. We call it free because we don't charge you for it. And so with that dimensional data, you can then plug in without an encoder and go into a virtual experience or an augmented reality experience or a mixed, type situation. So I think this is a feature that it's a sleeping feature. A lot of people don't know about it yet, but once they realize how powerful and how easy it can make things, you'll definitely be a happy customer having it included.
And I wouldn't even say it's a sleeping feature as much as it's a future-proof feature.
Well, there you go. That's a better way to put it.
It's one of these things that our dealers are already having these conversations with their customers. And even if they're not getting involved in that technology today, it is definitely something that they're asking about and that might be on the horizon. So to make an investment in this camera and have that capability is really a great selling point for our dealers to kind of arm themselves with.
And I can tell you from the conversations I'm having with other manufacturers, there's a lot of AR and VR toolkits and properties that are going to be much more readily available to our community. Sure,
that'll be great. That'll be exciting to see. So again, the UE100 really fits in at that flagship level of Panasonic's Pro PTZ line. But I also want to take an opportunity while we have you, Gregor, to kind of reintroduce the HLC100 stream station to our dealers. Not only have there been some significant upgrades to this live production system, but we have some new pricing that establishes just over $10,000, $10,499 MAP on this product now, which combines a complete live production system, PTZ camera controller, and streaming box all in one. Gregor, I hope I didn't say too much. Can you introduce the HLC100 for us?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, you did a really great job of kind of opening up there, but don't forget it's also got the audio mixer in it. It also can integrate Skype really well. It's a picture-in-picture. And then, you know, it is a streaming box, but it's not only a stream, it's simultaneously streaming to multiple places all at the same time. And you know, when you take all that alone, it really makes it one powerful machine. And then right on top of that, you just add that little record button, and now you can record everything right there in the same box. And so, you know, if you tried to do that by piecemealing all these pieces together, not only does it become unwieldy and you create so many points of, you know, potential failure, having it all in one box makes it super simple to integrate, super simple to operate, and really easy to train people, because I know in a lot of situations you have different people coming through, maybe in a church situation or something, and this is just a real easy thing to sit someone down in front of, and you can totally, you know, quickly figure it out.
Absolutely, and I have a camera on the demo system here in front of me. And one of the things that I want to point out is typically you would have the live production box, a separate control surface, and then you would add a PTZ controller. With the HLC100, that is all self-contained in this one box right here. We actually keep our demo unit in a Pelican travel case, and I can bring this one thing, hook up a keyboard and a mouse, connect my monitor to it, I'm ready to go. So I've got my production system, I've got my tactile control surface, I've got my T-bar to change IOs, and I've got my PTZ camera control with the joystick controller right here as well.
And you got your audio mixer built in there.
And I've got my audio mixer. And Gregor, I didn't forget about that. As a matter of fact, I have a full slide just talking about the audio mixer right here, you know?
Yep, perfect. Yeah, I mean, because you can't overlook that. That's a big plus, and we find a lot of people coming to that device because of that feature right there.
Absolutely, and I know just from speaking to a lot of our dealers, you're starting to see a much bigger cross-section where they would speak to customers who were knowledgeable in the video side of it. And then they had other customers who were knowledgeable in the audio side of it. With all of this live production technology, these two sides are really merging more and more closely together, where one person at a church or at a school is being leaned on for everything. So the fact that they can take this system and give a high quality audio mixer and a complete SDI video production tool that also supports NDI technology, by the way, and they can do all that in this box is really kind of what sets it apart from some of the other solutions available out there.
Absolutely, and then when you add the NDI on top of that, and that's a fantastic device.
Not only do I want to talk about the NDI capability, but one of the biggest things that you've done just in the last few months with the upgrades to this unit is improved on some of that Skype TX integration. So now, in this unit itself, I can produce my show and bring you in as a remote guest, just like we're doing on our broadcast today.
That's right. That's right, and there's also some remote controllability to it, so you can operate the box from a distance if you needed to. The keyer there is a big deal. That clip and stills media player. I mean, this thing's got it all.
Yep. Yeah, and again, back to the audio comment. One of the things that's great about Skype TX is at an enterprise level, what they do is prioritize the audio even over the video. So if there was a bandwidth issue, if there was something going on, you would still be able to have your guest participate in the show, join in the show, present whatever materials they're presenting, and that audio would continue to come in smoothly. Obviously, one of the most important things in any live production is to be able to present whatever information it is that you're speaking about.
Absolutely.
So, Gregor, we have this nice little workflow setup chart here. If you don't, I don't need you to go into all the different input and output specs and everything, but if you can give us a little overview of the HLC100, a typical multi-camera setup, and how I could use SDI and NDI and Skype TX to all interface in this, that would be great.
Yeah, and I believe your audience is probably pretty savvy and can figure that slide out just by simply looking at it. But what's really important here is that everything you're seeing there can be done for under 25K. I mean, you can add the cameras, you have the audio, you have the mixer, you have the monitors, you have all that stuff, and we can keep that price down well below where it used to be 2, even 3 years ago to pull off that same kind of workflow.
Which is great. I mean, obviously there are churches all over the country looking to get their live productions going. And we're not seeing that slow down now that they're being allowed to reopen and they're bringing limited audiences in. If anything, we're seeing just the opposite. We're seeing a lot of houses of worship make considerable investments to make sure that they are set up for the holiday season. We're also seeing a lot of schools make investments either with funds that they have received or to make sure that they close out any available funds that they have in this calendar year. So these are some great opportunities for our dealers to go after with the HLC100.
Yeah, and it might be worth noting right here that, as an authorized dealer, you do get a dealer registration. And so right now, until December, you actually get a higher registration than you did before.
Absolutely, and some of that deal reg is even higher for houses of worship, for education. When you're going into these specialty markets, if you're working with Broadfield, you're a Panasonic authorized dealer, we work with you, we get that deal registration through, it allows everyone to not only make the best margins on selling the product, but offer your customers the most competitive quotes and kind of the best bids to get the job and to get the equipment out there.
That's right. And I should have mentioned that in the when I said that, but it is exactly right. So it's house of worship and higher education are getting a big plug right now, especially in this category.
Absolutely. And that's where the entire Panasonic product line really fills these holes. We talked about the flagship cameras, the UE100 and the 150, but there's also a complete product line of PTZ, Pro PTZ cameras available at almost every price point for every customer along the way. Gregor, we don't need to spend a ton of time going through the product line that we've introduced on past shows, but if there's a feature or a highlight that you want to point out on some of these cameras, please do so.
Yeah, well, let me just say this, that if you want to know more, send me an email or Broadfield can put us in touch and I can send you a sheet where you have all that data in one place, because you're right, there's so much to explain. We don't have enough video time to go through it.
Exactly.
But what may be worth noting here is if you kind of are getting your head around, which models are which, when you see where it says an HN38 or an HE camera, the N means that it has the NDI license already on it.
Yep.
And then if it was an HE38K, then it would be black. And if it was a W, then it would be white. And then so that's kind of how you can tell which camera you're looking at, because we do have an extensive lineup. And then like you just said there, the best part of that is that no matter what your budget is, no matter what you're trying to accomplish, no matter what kind of situation you find yourself in, we have the perfect camera for that. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to have features that you don't even need right then, but you're going to need them later. And so you might as well get them because they don't cost you any extra.
Absolutely. I mean, just in this slide here, we start with the 1080p HD cameras with the HN38, the HN40. So these both have that NDI license pre-installed on them. Mm-hmm. The HE42 is a 30x optical zoom, but now that NDI license would be added separately to that. And even though I have one camera pictured here, they're all available in either black or white. And the W or the K in the part number would be your hint on that. And then actually I have up on the table in front of me here, the UN70, okay? And then there's the UE150, which of course is that high-end flagship camera that we've spoken about already. And now I do want to take a moment to talk about this guy just because of how different and unique it is. And Gregor, I know again, we can add a video clip and have the show that we did previously talking about the UE4 and the EPTZ capability, but I would like to take a minute again and kind of talk about what EPTZ is and what are some of the applications where this guy at under $1,000 is an easy sell.
Right. So the EPTZ means that the camera's not actually going to be moving around. You're just going to get the frame, and then you're going to be able to crop into it and move that crop around in on the image, which is a really neat feature, especially if you have like a huddle room situation where you don't want the camera moving around to distract people, in situations like that. And then that technology, believe it or not, actually also exists on the 100 and the 150 with the RP150 controller. And so we have on the very lowest price point, this one right here, the UE4, you have that kind of built in, and that's how you get the pan tilt zoom. And then you have that same feature as an option on the 100 and the 150. And then one thing to also note about the UE4 is that it has the mic. Audio is built into it, so you have a built-in microphone.
Absolutely, and this camera can be used just as a USB camera. So
Yep.
You can even use it in a school environment where you're looking to significantly upgrade that Zoom presentation above and beyond, the webcam built onto the machines themselves.
That's right. Many people are using these in their school applications right now. Many people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, at under $1,000 a camera, you can roll it out across a campus for a very affordable price, and then go to something like the UE100 or the 150 in the auditoriums and higher end applications. Now, Brady, you talked about the camera control. Panasonic has two hardware controllers. We spoke about the controller built into the HLC100 itself, but then we also have the RP60 and RP150 available. Quick overview on the two controllers and the differences between them.
Yeah, so the biggest difference is going to be that the RP150 has that screen and you can get an image on it, right? So it can also be a monitor. But there's also a lot of features that both of them share, and they're just easier to get to on the 150, for example. The controllability and the performance is going to be exceptional out of both of them.
Sure.
I mean, they're absolutely. And so the other thing to mention here is that even if you thought you couldn't get into one of these controllers, we have a free PTZ control software.
Yep.
And every camera comes with a web GUI interface to control them already built into the camera, which is a fantastic feature, and gives you the ability to control these cameras separately. And the other thing about that RP60 is that what I'm seeing a lot of people do is they're just adding it to the package because now you have a second controller, a backup controller, or a remote controller.
Absolutely. And you talked about the control software. In addition to the control software, Panasonic makes an awesome auto tracking software available as well.
That's right. Yeah, our auto tracking is pretty clever. It's looking off of facial recognition. It has what we call deep learned artificial intelligence. It's priced really well. It's easy to roll out. You can get the licenses that go onto servers and deploy it over an entire campus for as many cameras as you want. Just by getting the appropriate licenses for them. I can't say enough how great that auto tracking system is. And if you want to try it and you already own the Panasonic PTZ cameras, just download the 90-day free trial. That is a great way to just see if you like it, to see if it works for your application. Obviously call us if you have any questions about it, but just take it. It's free, it's 90 days, and it's a trial.
Absolutely, and that's something I really want to stress for our dealers who are selling, especially into the educational market. This auto tracking software, now through the end of the year, Panasonic is offering not the 30-day trial that they normally do. They've extended that trial to 90 days. That means that you can sell the Pro PTZ cameras to educational customers, and they have 3 months to play with that auto tracking capability before they have to worry about a license in any way, shape, or form. Now that we're sitting here at the end of October, really what you're telling your educational customers is that they can use their budget on the hardware today and not have to worry about software licensing until next year's budget. That alone is a huge selling feature when you are talking to schools and universities. So Gregor, thanks for mentioning that trial.
Gets on something and then moves the camera around. You can mask certain parts of the frame off. You can dial in how effective it is. You can pick, what do you want it to be, a medium shot, a close-up shot, a wide shot. You can tell the camera not to go past certain points, and so if someone walks off away from the blackboard, the blackboard never leaves the frame. The thing's got so many really cool features, and you can dial that in, and especially for higher ed, it's a fantastic solution.
Absolutely. And then finally, I want to remind our dealers that the Panasonic CX10 and CX350 handheld cameras that are upgradable with NDI are still available as well. These are in stock here at Broadfield, and they're a great complement to a multi-camera setup where you still have that videographer roaming to get the additional shots to add to the overall production. Gregor?
Before you get past that, let me just say one thing, that CX10 has a new firmware that's come out, and in that firmware, you're now allowed to use a P2, a micro P2, and so you get the P2 workflow out of that little CX10 camera. And so, I'm specifically talking to all these broadcasters out here, especially all the people who came up through the HVX200s and Vericams like I did. This is an amazing feature. I can't tell you enough how incredible that's going to make how versatile it's going to make that little camera. So.
I have that little camera right here. I mean, just to give you an idea, it's unbelievable. You can literally take this camera anywhere. It is very light, very easy to use, and thank you for stopping me there. That is a great upgrade for that camera.
Yeah.
Gregor, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about all the Panasonic stuff. There is another promotion right now from Panasonic, and to talk about that promotion, we are going to bring in another guest to the show, John Gunderson from Marlin Capital. Hey, John, thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys, thanks much. I appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you guys.
So, John, there's a reason we have you on the show beyond the obvious good looks, and that's to talk about the Panasonic financing promotion. So, John, before we get into the nitty-gritty details on the promotion, tell us a little bit about who you are, who Marlin Capital is, and how you play into all of this, please.
Sure. No, I appreciate that. I've been working with Panasonic, with Marlin, for about 8 years now. And over the last few years, we have branded ourselves as Panasonic Business Finance. Throughout these 8 years, we have worked with the Pro Video team and other business units providing different finance promotions for end customers. And we've had a lot of success over the last 8 years, and we've, with Gregor and his team, we've extended the promotion. We've actually made it even a little more creative and easy for end customers to say yes as compared to end customers to say no.
Absolutely. And the promotion that we're talking about is a 0% financing offer. Gregor, do you want to introduce a little bit about the promotional offer, and then we'll kick it right back to John?
Yeah, I mean, this is John's world. I'll let him get into the details of it, but we have a lot of customers who are saying right now, is not the time to go putting all of our money into something. We really need to be smart about this. We really need to, maintain our cash. And this has turned out to be a really great option for that. I just can't tell you enough how helpful it is in situations where you really could use it like a tool.
Absolutely. So, John, tell us a little bit about the offer and why our dealers want to know how to sell this to their end users.
Well, it's great promotion, and it's not only for the PTZ cameras, but the promotion really evolves around the entire Pro Video portfolio of products, such as the PTZ cameras, switchers, camcorders, cinema cameras, studio cameras, et cetera, and it's a 24 months at 0% on all the Panasonic professional video gear. Now, where I come from, 24 months at 0% equals free money. Right. And who doesn't like free money? What this does, it gives the end customer, as I said before, the ability to say yes as compared to, like Gregor just said, it's not in my budget, I can't make this happen. So what you do, it's pretty much the same as cash. You spread the payments over 24 months, which are much more manageable than writing a big old capital expense check, especially in today's market. You know, with what we're dealing with, there's so much uncertainty in today's market. I will tell you, in the last 60, 90 days, we have seen more end customers that have never financed before are now looking at monthly payment options. Why? They don't know what's coming around the corner, because none of us knows what's coming around the corner. So the promotions, like I said, for the Panasonic platform of professional video gear is a great way for the resellers to actually put something different and unique, and what I like to say, very compelling, in front of their end customers. Because when they're saying it's not in my budget, the next thing you could say is, would you entertain a monthly payment at a 0% interest rate for 24 months?
Right.
That, guys, is compelling.
And John, what I think our dealers will recognize immediately too, is it allows them to speak to their customers to move up their calendars. If you're dealing with a customer that might be looking to make a significant production upgrade anytime the next 2 years, it allows our dealers to make the phone call and reach out to them today and say there's no reason to wait. Make the purchase now, let me set you up with a complete system, take advantage of this offer, and once again, like you said, take advantage of the free money.
And that's exactly correct. You know, one of the benefits of the promotion and financing bundled together, it really does accelerate the sales process. As I said, people put up the stop sign, buyers like, I can't make it happen now. But this gives you the ability to remove that objection off the table and allows the end customer to manage their cash flow on a monthly basis, as compared to being concerned with writing that $150,000, $200,000 check and realizing, did I just make a mistake or not?
Right.
Well, this gives the end customer the ability, same as cash, and spread the payments over 24 months. It's been a very compelling promotion with Panasonic, I can tell you right now.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that the 24-month interest-free is a compelling offer, but I've also had the pleasure of working with Marlin Capital in the past, and your relationship with Panasonic, your relationship with Broadfield now as Panasonic's distributor, really is all going to make this kind of seamless and very easy for our dealers to talk to their customers and kind of offer them everything they need in the one phone call, in the one stop, all the way from bidding and quoting the project to actually closing the deal and getting the financing done.
And so one of the things I always share with the dealers is, you're not on an island by yourself here, guys. You know, our role is really simple, to help you guys drive solutions. And what you don't need to do is, you don't need to interface with the customer and talk about finance or monthly payment options or credit applications. That's our job. So if you want to consider us your finance engineer, consider us your finance engineer. You guys do a great job selling Panasonic professional video equipment. Let us do our job financing the equipment and make it an easy transition for you guys.
John, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to share your contact information again on the screen here. Let me make sure I get out of the way.
Please.
And obviously, all of our dealers, you can reach out to your Broadfield salesperson. You can connect with Gregory at Panasonic. We can put you in touch with John at Marlin Capital. Whatever resources you need, Broadfield is your source. You know, guys, our motto is people like doing business with Broadfield because we make it easy to do business. Partnerships like this amongst the three of us make it even easier than ever. So thank you both so much for joining us today. I will let you go finish your beers, and I will let you know when that phone starts ringing for the Panasonic products. Cheers, guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate it, guys. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Yeah. You guys have a great day.
You as well, Gregor. So before I let our dealers go, I want to let you know that we have some great plans coming up for you, and that's going to include inviting Gregor back on the show in the next couple of weeks. We are going to be focusing all of our efforts on NDI November. not just because November starts with an N, but because we've got lots of great NDI products to choose from. Panasonic, NewTek, Bird Dog, PTZ Optics, Telestream, and Epiphan all support NDI. All are available at Broadfield. So remember, Broadfield is your source for NDI, and join us next Thursday to find out more about NDI November. As always, until next time, cheers.
Broadfield Distributing is a value-added distributor of live production, streaming, video editing, and storage products. We only sell to resellers. We are always looking for new dealers. So call us at 1-800-634-5178 or email sales@broadfield.com. You'll like doing business with Broadfield because we make it easy to do business.